Flesner, along with Debbie Giordano.
Thank you. Good to see you, Todd.
Good to see you as well, Debbie.
You know, we air on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m.
Well, thanks for reminding folks. I know they like to tune in to see what's going on in Milpitas and keep up to date with the real estate market. So, to that end, would you like to introduce folks to who we have joining us today?
I would. We just spoke coming in the door. It's like old school or like a class reunion here. We have Edwin Rosello. Edwin actually was the instigator or inspiration to begin our show and had helped us when we started off at Valley Homes on TV many, many years ago. So I want to thank you again for those years that you gave us.
I'm so impressed with how far you've taken us. That's great.
Launched us, and yes, and you are back in town.
Yes.
Had some time off in Arizona, but you are now locally here and plugging away in the real estate business.
Right. I'm managing and also working in the field.
Okay, good.
So it's giving me both sides of it.
Oh, great. Then we've got some great questions for you.
Great. Well, for those that may not know you, may not remember that far back when you were here locally on Channel 26, maybe fill us in. What's your background? How did you get into the real estate industry?
Wow. Well, way back isn't too long ago. But for a second there, I thought, wow, that sounds like some of the old Gunsmoke series. But I've been in the business since 91. Since 1991. Began selling real estate for Remax Real Estate back in the Evergreen area, and did that for several years, and then branched off and opened up my own mom and pop franchise or boutique, and enjoyed that for several years. And then while that market was what it was in those days,
you were in Tracy, if I remember. No?
And then for a while I moved into the Tracy area because we were bringing we were bringing a lot of home buyers from the Silicon Valley area back when gas prices were much more easy to swallow. And many of the folks here were moving towards Central Valley. So we worked a lot of the new home builders, and so many of the home sellers here would work with us to introduce them to the relationships that we had with the home builders. And so that worked out well. And then I got very involved with the Santa Clara Association of Realtors, as you know, and did a lot of work with them. In 2006, served as their president. And that was a fun year, and was able to see an even higher level aspect of real estate, the association level. And now, after the REO business, here I'm at the Legacy Real Estate offices in Willow Glen.
Well, and I was, again, chatting offline there. Very lucky to have you with all the breadth of experience that you bring to that operation. And Legacy's getting to be quite large. Tell us about Legacy.
Okay, well, Legacy Real Estate, it's based in Fremont. Their flagship office is Mission Boulevard in Driscoll. They've got roughly 200 agents there. And they've got 3 other offices. The Livermore office with 35 agents. Okay. Pleasanton now with 40. And then here in Willow Glen, we're building that office. We've got about 17, 18 agents there now.
Oh, nice size.
And many on the queue. Mm-hmm. So it's growing. As many people have asked me, well, I haven't really heard too much about Legacy. In the South Bay, not yet. In Southern Alameda County, it's the leader in market share, so it's well known there.
Good. So you're opening a new office then in Willow Glen. How long has that office been open?
Well, we've been open for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
About a year and a half now. I took over less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a previous real estate company, and we ended up buying them out. Okay. So we're now retrenching and getting really good agents there.
Okay. Well, you've got a lot of good background in real estate, as Debbie mentioned. As you talked about your history. What is it that attracted you to Legacy?
Well, it's interesting. There's quite a number of really good brands here in Silicon Valley, and in fact, I was one of the big brands previous to Legacy, and worked not only as a real estate agent broker, but also did a lot of work auditing files. So I have a lot of experience in transactions and auditing files, making sure the right forms are used, the right signatures, the right initials, all the things that many agents really don't want to make sure that everything's dotted and every T's crossed. Mm-hmm. So what attracted me to Legacy is that they also have the same attitude on making sure that the agents protect themselves. However, with Legacy, for myself, it's just the flavor that works better for me. I like the family culture. I like the support that we get there and that we're able to offer the agents. And I like that the leadership team is comprised of many of the folks that are involved in the association levels from the local, the state, and even the National Association of Realtors. So they have a lot of experience knowing what's going on in the industry without necessarily having to only just be in the field. I like the comprehensiveness of that.
So let's talk about your past experience with the association.
Oh my.
When you served as the board of the president.
Yes.
And I do remember that term. You did a great, fantastic job.
Thank you.
And I love it when folks work in the industry and they hands-on like you did, and then also serve the real estate community at the board level. That's terrific. So how does that, tell us about what the function of the board is, how they facilitate and help the realtors, and what particularly you did.
Well, the real estate boards, not necessarily just Santa Clara, but the real estate boards in general work for the betterment of the members of the association. The board really works to protect the rights, the private property rights of ownership, of owners, private property owners. Sorry, I didn't phrase that well. So they work towards that, and so they keep their eyes and ears open to what's happening with local government relations. What things are being done that might infringe upon private property owners' rights? What things are being done that might make it unnecessarily more expensive? For example, one of the things that real estate associations in general tend to be against is additional taxes, making it harder for home buyers to buy a property, or additional costs to a seller.
At point of sale.
At point of sale, exactly. You know the terms. You've
Yes.
been around as
Exactly.
and things that have to be done at the point of sale, such as years ago when they said that homes that have the wrought iron bars in the windows, there was a movement to remove those. Yet deciding where to cause that to happen, it always came down to real estate. Well, we'll do it at the real estate transaction. At the real estate transaction, when they sell the property, then the owner has to change those bars to fit the new code. The argument there is that, well, why is it being affected only to the sellers of the property versus all the properties? And that's just one. The other ones are additional taxes, additional costs, making it prohibitive. It's already very expensive to buy a home. Why make it even more challenging? So that's one area.
And the board, I know, interviews candidates for local offices that
Right.
support those concepts and
Right.
and support those
It's
ideas.
important to have a voice on the political level, and the real estate board directors interview candidates to make sure that those candidates are aware of the function, the role of real estate in the economy, and how it affects not only the owners, but the economy in general.
All right, good.
Good. So you talked about the board, and you also talked about legacy and management in real estate, protecting those within the industry and the professionalism. But that also extends, I think, to the general public, does it not?
It does. It does. In protecting the rights of private property owners, there's a lot that are done. There's many eyes and there's many feelers on the ground to see what's going on. There was a law, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's the tree law,
Oh, yes.
right? And the tree law, where properties can't be sold unless they had a particular type of tree, number of trees on the property.
And that's San Jose specific, right?
And
Jose.
San Jose
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I know we don't have it in Milpitas, but.
Right.
Right. And there are laws like that throughout the state. So here it's a matter of questioning, well, why is it there? What are the costs? How are those costs shared? And again, it comes down to, is the home buyer already concerned with purchasing the home? Is the home buyer now needing to foot the cost of these additional requirements? So it becomes a balancing act, and so the associations work towards that. Now they work on many things. That's just on the political side. Most associations have many committees, and the politically related committees are just a few of them. So.
All right.
Okay.
Edmund, let's get down to where these folks that are watching the show are really interested. Tell us about different cycles of the real estate
Oh,
market.
interesting.
And where's real estate in general? What,
And,
in
that's-
your
this'll be-
perspective, that is the main
Well, I'm
question.
surrounded by experts, so I'm certain each one of us has our own crystal ball. And I got
Mine
my crystal
broke a
ball
while back, but-
and I got mine at Walmart. But it's probably just as effective as the ones
Mine's
that
a
are
little
bought at
cloudy,
Nordstrom. It's exactly. It's very difficult to say, because every time it's much like figuring out the stock market. Every time somebody's figured it out, it does something completely unexpected and different that goes against logic. So where we are in the cycle, that truly is anyone's guess. The most common question I get from clients all the time is how is this market? Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? And is it a good time to sell? It's a good time to buy. It truly depends on where that individual is in their situation about life. Is their work good? Are they looking at relocating? Are they empty nesting? Those things, those
As
need to be
opposed to
accounted.
timing the market.
Exactly. It really is. It's very difficult.
But I hear we've got a seller's market right now.
Yes, we do have a seller's market by definition, where you've got, very limited inventory and a huge number of buyers. You have a seller's market. So it would be interesting to see where our market would be if our inventory was at normal levels, which is almost 2.5, 3 times more than what we have now.
Right.
See, so I hate to be vague, but you can't define the market. There's another definition for seller's market or buyer's market. It goes into something much more mathematical, which is taking the number of properties that have closed escrow over the last 6 months and determining an average per month and comparing it to the number of properties that are closing today. If the average, for example, that closes every month for the last 6 months is 30 homes in a given zip code or a given school district within that zip code, if it's 30 and today it looks like there's 50 that are going to close in the next month, well, obviously it looks like the market's very hot. If only 5 are closing when the average is 30, that tells you something completely different.
Good point.
Yeah. So there's the what's everybody saying way of doing it, and then there's the mathematical way of doing it, and then there's the dart way of doing it. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of the dartboard, if you look out into the future, where would you throw that dart today in terms of where you think the real estate market is headed?
I'm tempted to say that it appears as if rates are likely to come a little bit higher. What are your thoughts? You're in loans.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, we've been at historic lows, absolutely, and so usually there's only one way to go from there, right? And that's up. And I think there will be some upward pressure going forward.
Right. Now, as far as housing inventory, it's interesting. I have a client who just sold a mobile home, and mobile homes tend to get an offer or two. Well, this mobile home had 19 offers.
Yeah.
And
Affordability.
Exactly, affordability plus nothing else to choose from. And the other thing we'll look at is right now, if you drive down almost any street in Willow Glen, there's at least 1 or 2 construction companies that work remodeling homes. So you look at that and you think, well, maybe they can't sell because where would they move to? So let's just remodel the home.
So sellers that are looking at this program, pricing, what factors go into determining a price on a property?
And you know this, so you're kind of leading the witness. You know the answer. Well, you look at the inventory, you look at what the market is doing, how many actives, how many pendings, how many solds. You make sure they're comparable to the home that you're thinking of putting on the market. And then you get an idea of where the trend line is. Is the trend downward? Is it taking shorter number of days or longer number of days? And what condition is the home? Does it look like a fixer-upper that needs some work? Or does it look like the Taj Mahal? All those things and more will come into play in determining where the pricing should be.
So the folks need to check with a professional.
Right. And that's almost, it's interesting because we talk about how we need to remind the public to check with a professional because there's the Zillows and there's the Trulias and there's the .comers and there's whatever it is. And just like when I purchased my last Bluetooth headset, I'll price it out and see what it's going for, but then I want to talk to an expert because the expert's going to tell me if that's going to be suitable for me.
Well, let's use Zillow, as I don't mean to pick on them, that's that site, but I have
But it's so easy to pick on them.
It's so easy to pick on them. They don't take location into, you could be backed up to a train tracks.
Right, they don't take traffic into account.
Anything.
They don't take school districts into
account. Or the
account.
condition of the home inside. So, and the neighbors
Right.
on each side, are they renters, owners, and what does the neighborhood look like? So
Exactly.
So
Is
we
it
know-
a corner lot? Is it located in the court? Where in the court is it located?
Right.
For the folks that follow feng shui, which way is the house facing? Those things aren't
Absolutely.
necessarily factored
Good point.
into.
That's a good
Although
point.
there's a numerical value they must assign those things to. The nice thing I like about Zillow is that it almost serves as an intermediary because folks that check it will eventually talk to a professional.
Mm-hmm.
So it at least gets them looking and then talk to the pro what's really going on.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good. So, we've talked about the market and the ups and the downs and the ebbs and flows. How about some tips for folks? If you're thinking about buying a home, perhaps, what are some tips you might give to folks who are thinking about buying, and then also on the selling side, tips for sellers?
Okay, on the buying side, get your eggs ready. Get your ducks in a row. Sorry, get your eggs. What am I thinking? I must be a little hungry. But get your ducks in a row, number one. Number two, know as much as you can about the market as you can find online. But you want to refer to a professional and ask them, based on this, based on what you're seeing in the market. And by professional, I'm not necessarily saying somebody that's been in the business 20 or 30 years. It could be somebody that's been in the business relatively short time, but that's got a team that can guide and see what else is going on. So they've got to get their ducks in a row so that when the opportunity arises, they can pull the trigger. Too many folks wait for the target first before they get everything ready. And that misses the market.
They miss it, yeah.
Right.
And then secondly, if they are working with a professional at that point, make sure that professional knows the market and knows the people. If somebody has a listing out there and they get 18 offers, the agent's more likely to at least ask questions to the agents that they know in that 18 offers versus somebody that they've never heard of. And the listing agent may have been in business a while. And if you've been in business a while, you typically know quite a number of agents. So those are a few tips.
All right, let's regress now, but go back to Legacy Real Estate Company, your particular company.
Yes.
So opening up the new office, what are the goals?
Well, right now we are
targets?
renovating, and renovations will be probably complete in another 2.5 weeks. So I'm excited about that. We're looking to fill up that office. We're looking to fill the office with quality agents, and I know every manager, every talent scout says that. But for me, quality agents means something a little bit differently. You know, a quality agent in many big brands' eyes is breathing with a license. You know, here at the real estate boards, I was very involved in the code of ethics and the professional standards committees. In fact, I served as the chairpersons on those committees on the local and the state level. And I know when an agent gets into trouble because somebody's reported some sort of a violation, that agent will usually bring in their manager or their broker with them for the hearing. That takes 2 to 3 hours, and that's on a good day. So imagine an office with, say, 200 agents, and statistically you might have 2% agents having issues. That's a lot of time away from the office, helping other agents develop their business plans or putting some action plans together. So for me, quality agent is not only the agents that's done well, that's got a license, that's can show me history, but their character. And even beyond their character, their authenticity. I've met many agents that talk really, really fast and use 1,000 words to say something that can be said in 20. And I worry about that because in 1,000 words, you can say something that shouldn't be said. So the authenticity part is challenging for me. The agent that obviously hasn't done a couple of deals but is driving around the latest $90,000 car worries me. I like that they're motivated, but that kind of motivation may not be healthy for the client.
I recall when I first started in the real estate industry, they were preaching you go out and lease a car so you look successful and whatever. And that got a lot of people in trouble.
It does.
A lot of people in debt
they weren't
over
looking
there.
at the long term.
Long term.
Right? And
good point.
that's the thing I look for.
Well, it sounds like one of the things I'm hearing in that is that listening is an important skill, because really you're working on behalf of that client, and understanding their needs and their objectives is an important piece of that, I would imagine.
Right, it is. There's much more to it than showing a client, buyer or seller, the numbers. In fact, I will frequently advise my own family when they're selecting somebody, not necessarily the one that's the busiest or the most active, but a knowledgeable professional that you connect with. Because without that authenticity, you're unable to call them after 7 p.m.
Right.
I'm not encouraging people to call after 11 p.m., but you won't find that. You won't find the ability to ask a question and get an answer that allows you, the client, to sleep well at night. It doesn't pass the pillow test.
Right.
So
Good.
So in closing, your personal goals and objectives. What
well,
are your plans?
for the office,
For you, Edwin.
for me, well, I want to be like you.
Back on the show.
Well, you not only manage, but you also produce, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you're out working in the trenches. So what is it you hope to do personally?
Well, there's a couple of things. I've got 3 kids, and 2 of them are in college. My youngest will be in college in about a year and a half. I want to make sure that's taken care of, obviously. Make sure that they're going to something they enjoy, not necessarily the thing that's touted as being the highest paying professions. And that's, so doing something that they love to do. So there's that. That's my personal goals. And then, as in all of us, I'm looking for other ways to increase my ability to develop better, whether it's in raising talent at the office, or whether it's in helping my own family increase what their abilities are. And it's a little bit esoteric, but and I'm at that point now where that's kind of the feel good.
Families,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, being somebody of influence
Yes.
in making a difference is
Yes.
important, being a contributor. So good. Well, Edwin, we've been absolutely delighted to have you back on the
been
show.
a pleasure.
Welcome
Thank
back.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
We're delighted, and I think we have a gift here for you.
We
Oh,
do.
wow,
We
I gotta
do.
even get a gift.
You are now the proud owner of a Valley Homes on TV, the Milpitas
That's
edition
great.
t-shirt.
Oh, well. Now it's official. I like
Now
it.
it's official. You can wear that in pride. So.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, thanks again for joining us.
And good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck to you and your company.
Thanks again.
Through the years, trends and styles may come and go, but the important things remain the same. Generation after generation, consistently there, creating moments and memories to last a lifetime. Like a true friend, the national parks have always been there for you, and now you can be there for them. Support the National Park Foundation and help protect America's treasured places.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching here to give a wrap up of the market and facts of February. So, first thing, Todd, I want to bring up economy heats up. Affordability is expected to take a hit in the next year as home prices and interest rates continue to rise. How do you feel about that?
Well, the affordability piece of the equation we're starting to see, and I know you see it every day with the number of people that are looking at property, right? When you have a listing, the number of people that are coming through those open houses, the number of offers on those properties. So the demand is definitely there,
Right.
much greater than the supply, and that's pushing prices in an upward direction. So it's getting a little bit more expensive to own a home. Interest rate market here, actually in the short term, has been pretty stable. In fact, we've seen a little bit of dip here in the last few weeks. And there's still some uncertainty in the economy. Yeah, there's some signs that there's some health there, but the word I like to use is uncertainty. We had Shay Pereira, CPA, on with us here recently. And Shay talked about some of the changes in taxation. And those sort of things cause uncertainty in people's minds, and particularly about their plans for future investment. So, that's kind of keeping some lid on increase in interest rates. So they're still real affordable right now, which is the good news.
Excuse me.
But there is some speculation as we go through the year, if we do see the economy start to heat up a little bit more, that we might see interest rates come up a little bit, go up a little bit higher. Again, we've been talking about this for the last several years. We've got to keep an eye on the unemployment rate. Under 6% is the Fed target, and inflation, 2% is the target there. Once we kind of hit those metrics, then we'll probably start to see some changes perhaps in Fed policy.
And I think that you're accurate when you talk about uncertainty. I do talk to buyers coming in open houses, and the job market seems to be stable.
Yes.
But and I do think we're at a point. It's been widely publicized that we're out of the bottom of the market, and
Yes.
it's just on the way up, and they don't see a dip or any kind of change other than maybe an upward pressure of pricing. So the market's strong right now.
It is, and I think we're also returning to more of a balanced or more normal sort of market when it comes to the inventory of properties that are for sale.
I would agree.
We don't have the distressed properties like we had before.
It's interesting. Here's another article just a couple weeks ago in the San Jose Mercury News talking about is now an opportune time to sell. And I think it's a big question in a lot of sellers' minds. Should I sell now or wait for the spring? And there's a lot of factors that go into deciding, and of course, family planning, as Shay talked about. I'm sure you have to look at some tax consequences and what do you want for your family and planning as far as raising a family and what area you want to raise them at. But I don't think you can time it so well. I mean, it's been a good market, and it's going to remain a strong market.
Right.
And I think those decisions are a personal decision.
Well, right, and I know you talk to a lot of people who are considering selling their homes, and it's not always strictly the financial considerations that people have when they sell. That, there are all sorts of life events. People have relocations, changes in family structures, and other motivations that people have for selling.
I like that word, life events. Those are good.
Well, life happens, right?
Life happens.
And we react to those changes as we go along.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so let's go into some numbers.
Sure.
Let's look at what the market's doing. Let me give you some statistics. Back in December of 2012, we had an average single-family price in Milpitas of $711,000 and a median price of $660,000. And now December 2013, that's my most recent statistics. It's interesting, there's not a lot of change in the average price. It's $707,000. But what's bumped up is the median price. That's up to $730,000. And I think we're going to see that rise even a little bit more as the next few months.
Do you think that what do you think's behind that, driving the increase in the median price?
I don't know. I'm not really certain, other than I guess it's maybe limited market. There's very few. Inventory is tighter now than it was before. So that would
so with fewer sales, that tends to drive that number up.
And also we have a lot of upper end. We got homes over $1 million in Milpitas, and they're selling. So that's definitely driving that price up.
Okay.
So condos are continuing to rise. This is unbelievable. December 2012, $344,000 for average price. Median price $332,000. That's now shifted to $517,000 for average price and $521,000 for a median price. I did not expect.
Those have been some dramatic changes, particularly in the condominium market.
Yes, and particularly we've got so much building going on in the city. That I would have thought that would have flooded the market and put more supply out there and maybe kept the prices stable, but that's not the case. What it goes to show you is that you still have young family. I have a family that I was working with just today, young married couple, and they have a couple children looking at a condominium, $400,000. So that's what's affordable, and that's what they're getting into, and they appreciate having that.
Well, I think the other thing it does is it provides evidence how great of a place Milpitas is to live. Folks want to live here. We've got great schools, shopping, real convenient location here in Silicon Valley, all the amenities that you want. Great parks. Exactly.
Great services,
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to live in Milpitas?
Well, we're being flagged down, so we could go on and on. So, Todd, thanks a lot again for everything you do and making this show happen. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll continue to do this. And
we enjoy doing it.
Yep. So we'll see you folks later. Thank you for watching Valley Homes on TV.